Hello, everybody. This is Aaron from Grava Adventure Corporation. Now, this is my very first interview uh, for our YouTube channel, and I'm using an app called StreamYard. And so, as you watch this video following here, we're kind of learning as we go. I've done some test interviews before, but as we go through, so there may be some volume issues and some microphone issues in this video, but I'm interviewing my cousin here, and we're going to work through these, and they'll get better over time. But just want to preface that if you have any recommendations, please leave a comment and recommend what we could do to change and make StreamYard a little bit better. So here we go. Welcome everybody to Grava Adventure Channel, dedicated to all things adventurous and outdoor exploration. If you're passionate about walking, hiking, or riding around on a bicycle and yearn for the thrill of the great outdoors, you've come to the right place. Join us as we delve into captivating interviews with fellow adventurers, normal people just like me and you, and look at the world of outdoor pursuits. So in this exciting series, we have our first person I'm going to interview. First time I'm trying this, please comment or like on the YouTube channel if you think this is interesting. But I have Sarah, who is a cousin of mine, and I follow her on YouTube, and she does amazing stuff with her kids and her families to get outside. So I would like to welcome everybody, Sarah, and thank you for joining Grava's very first interview.
Good afternoon, Aaron. Good to be here. Hi, I'm Sarah Luggie. I live in Manitou with my two kids, husband, and friend. I'm just an outdoor enthusiast, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. So when we get into these topics and I start interviewing people, I think one of the things I'm going to really just kind of get into in the very beginning is just saying, like, what kind of, how would you describe yourself as an adventurer? Because I think everybody has like a different idea in their head about how they are adventurous. And I think every person is a bit unique. So how would you describe yourself as an adventurer?
I'm a planner, whether it's in our family or with my coworkers, a group of friends. I'm the one that says, hey, let's do this. And I'm lucky enough to have people in my life that go along with my crazy ideas, and we have a lot of fun in the meantime.
So do you focus like there's different kinds of adventure, like there's rock climbing, whitewater rafting, and things like that. With you and your two girls, and I have girls too, like what are your favorite things to do as a family or as a group? So as an adventurer.
As a family, we go camping and backpacking a lot. They just got to mountain biking a lot this summer. They went to a mountain biking camp, and that helped spark their bravery with that. We hike a lot, and then they go skiing.
Yeah, because you are actually in a really kind of fun place. I consider it fun. I've been to Denver, Colorado, and Boulder, Colorado, and you're actually in Colorado. And Colorado to me is just like it's like the Disneyland of outdoor adventure with the mountains and everything, right?
To the south, there's Section 16 and Bear Creek, Cheyenne Mountain. Pikes Peak is visible. The incline's right there. 2 miles to the base trail, and then to the north of us is Garden of the Gods. So we're completely surrounded. Pick a trail and go.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't have that sort of access. I think one of my favorite places is Boulder, Colorado, but I definitely would love to see more of Colorado in general. Just like my family's in Montana and Wyoming, and they're just wonderful places to visit. So let's talk about your latest adventure. Like, what is something you did lately that you would consider an adventure with you individually or your friends or your family and your kids?
This summer has kind of been a whirlwind of adventure. We started off the day after I was done with work, and we went to Zion, Bryce, and Capitol Reef and camped through those for 10 days. Went on some really amazing hikes. Some of the bigger hikes were closed because there was a lot of water, but still got some solid time outdoors on the trail. Then we returned and took off on another camping trip where it was a group camping trip up at Happy Meadow, and just took all the kids last and now we're home for a minute.
That's great. That's great. And so one of the themes I think I've seen you have, especially with your kids, it is something I kind of focus on too, is sometimes it's just so easy to get stuck in a rut, right? I see this happen to a lot of people in a lot of families where everybody's working all the time and the kids are home and it's iPads and TV and they're just sitting around with these entertainment devices. It, it seems like that's something you focus on, which is trying to get your kids unplugged and outside. And tell me about the strategies you use to do that, and why do you think it's so important?
In 2019, for spring break, I thought, let's just try spring break unplugged. Let's just go do everything outdoors. And my oldest was kind of reluctant. You know, she liked her Netflix and everything else that kids have access to. And then we did it, and she loved it. And she wanted the TV to stay unplugged. So I said, well, let's try it for the summer and see how far into the summer we made it. So since then, we've been doing every summer unplugged. And so we'll still, go see a movie maybe once a summer or something like that. But really, they don't have screen time. And what I've seen is they are much closer friends because they play with each other instead of interacting with a screen. And their imaginations and just the things that they want to do and try, they are truly outdoor enthusiasts now. They're like, Mom, can we go do this? Can we go do, they're to the point where they're planning what they want to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've experienced the same thing. We haven't done full blown unplugged. They're plugged in when we're working and stuff because me and my wife work, but we do make a attempt, a pretty good attempt, I feel like, where we get outside as much as we can, especially in the summer. And like right now, my two oldest are at a scouts camp for a week by themselves at scouts camp camping. And what I found amazing is you take away the screen time and it doesn't matter to kids. Like they will find things to entertain themselves with. They will collect sticks. They will start the fire. They will go chase frogs. Like they don't need the screens at all. It's just something they're doing when they're at home because it just seems like that's what we do. But it's a choice that you don't have to make. And I love your unplugged summer idea because I think it's really great to kind of see your kids without that technology. And I think it's good for them too, because my kids do become very good friends too when they're playing together.
That's definitely been a big change from, they were pretty young when we started. So age has also helped with that. But it's a big change and it really expands their imagination, like you're saying, with picking up sticks and chasing frogs.
Right. So when you're going with kids, and I kind of want to stick to the kid topic a bit here, like what are some considerations that parents need to think about? Like when they say, because you have kids and you're busy and it's hard to take a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old outside. But when you do your first trip, and I would say 4 or 5 is actually a really good age. But when you do your first trip, what are some of the considerations you need to think about when you take your kids outside in the woods on a hike or camping or things like that?
For me, it's been trail etiquette. There's a lot of curvy trails here, mountain bikers, pedestrians, equestrians. You share the trails with everybody. So just really teaching them hike on the right, everybody passes on the left, don't put a big stick in the trail, stay on the trail because there's rattlesnakes. Just letting them know too what wild animals are out there and how if we come across a bear, this is what we do. If we come across a bobcat, this is what we do. And it's really educating them how to be out in nature and have fun, but also be respectful of nature and of other people enjoying it.
That's true because, yeah, I think about that too. We are really teaching our kids some pretty important lessons out there because you're bringing somebody that knows nothing about anything about being outside. And so even the simplest thing, like bring a water bottle, like we have to bring water with us because we need to drink water, or we're going to put sunscreen on today because it's really hot and we don't want to get sunburned. Or like in Pennsylvania, we don't have to worry about bobcats or mountain lions or bears. But yeah, in the Rocky Mountains, you do. You have to worry about grizzly bears and black bears and some dangerous animals out there. So yeah, those are some great tips. I love those tips. So when you're out hiking or traveling, I know like everybody does different things. So I think this is an interesting question, but what would you consider like your favorite piece of adventure gear that you bring with you? What's something that you always bring with you or the most important thing that you have?
Well, like you said, being high up, you get sunburned a lot. So sunblock is always a must. My hydration vest is ultimate direction. I use it to hike. I take it on my paddleboard with me. Um, Also, training in the Rocky Mountains. I'm a trail runner, so I found craft insulated pants to be a lifesaver when it's, -10 outside and you're up in the mountains running. Screw shoes so you don't fall off the side of the mountain when it's icy. Those are a big, big plus. Um, and for the kids too, when they were younger, there's so many different types of carriers. And I have a lot of moms reach out to me and dads about how to carry their kids. And so there's structured carriers and non-structured, and there's kind of an in-between. It's a hip seat carrier. And I've climbed so many mountains with the kids on my back or on my chest with the hip seat. So I recommend that for sure.
Yeah. Wow. That reminds me, when I see those carriers, I think of my time in the Marine Corps, carrying big heavy packs. And, because some of these kids are like 35 pounds you may be carrying. And so it's a heck of a workout at Colorado elevation, because I've been there at, 7,000 feet up in the mountains or even 8,000 feet. And you start breathing, for us low level people, it's difficult. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's great. We talked about safety and some of the gear. So with this channel or what Grava's trying to do is I'm trying to really just reach out to people who are kind of stuck in a rut. And, they're, because we all know, like as parents too, and especially if you have two working parents and you have kids and things like that, life can just start getting into a rut, like a routine. And I call it a rut because it's like the old wagon trail ruts where you get your wagon wheel in, and then once you're in, you're kind of following the direction of that rut. And it's really hard to pull yourself out of the rut. And I've actually been in a rut myself recently because I had a knee injury. And so only after 13 months, I'm coming back with physical therapy from this knee injury. And I had to really force myself with Grava, making this company, to get out of my rut and go walking. What is some advice? Have you, like, if you had a friend that's stuck in a rut, you haven't seen them around for a while, and but you still talk to them and they're maybe not doing well and things like that, what suggestion would you have for them to get outside or to help try to get out of a rut? Because we all know like nature, being outside does help, the mind and the body and things like that.
Well, honestly, I think that's why I share so much of what me and my kids do. It's encouraged others to. There's some really strenuous hikes around here, like the incline. One of my coworkers just did it today for the first time because she was like, "Oh wow, your 4 and 6-year-old or 5 and 7-year-old can do that. I think I can also do that." So I think just sharing and encouraging. Also, I'm kind of a come with me person. So I'm, always encouraging others. Let's go, whether it be a kid that's staying the night with us. If it's me personally, I try to keep in mind, like, don't be scared of change. Sometimes it's so comfortable and you get in your routine, and it is really scary to try new things sometimes. But, sometimes the scariest things are the funnest or most exciting. So I try to remember that always.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. And I like your strategy of putting on Facebook with your kids. If a 6 or 7-year-old can hike the incline, come on. Yeah, That's really great advice. And it is important to understand that change can be scary. I think there's a lot of people out there that never grew up outside
Yeah.
and they spent a lot of time inside, or family vacations were in hotels. And so it was just to go outside to the beach, come back to the hotel, and not really immersing yourself in nature. I think a strategy for me personally, I am trying a strategy where I'm trying to just convince people to just walk out your front door and walk around the neighborhood as a good starting point. And then from there, we can try to build our adventure capacity, or our capacity to accept change, experience new things, and get a little uncomfortable. So great tips, Sarah. As always, this is why I wanted you as the first person I interviewed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So what would you, so we said everything, I think we said everything that I wanted to talk about in the interview. Now, since I do follow your Facebook, I did want to talk, you don't have to talk about this, but I did want to talk about one thing. So there was something interesting, like you were into building like things for your, I don't know, is it a van or for your Explorer or whatever it is? Like, can you talk about like what that hobby was?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm a trail runner, road runner. So I've been to a lot of races, and a lot of times you register for a race, there's that fee. And then if they're out of town, you have to pay for a day or two in a hotel. I kind of got sick of that. So I thought, well, I'll build myself a camp box that has a pull-out kitchen, some storage, and then a sleep platform that extends. I have a Toyota Highlander. And so I built one. And then my husband got a rooftop tent. So he kind of commandeered my camp box, and I didn't have it anymore, which was beneficial for us as a family. And recently, I camp a lot of places where there's bears and stuff, and I've started taking the girls more and more just on my own and the girls, because Rob works during the summer, and I work at a school, so I don't work in the summer. So I built a new camp box that the three of us can comfortably sleep in the Toyota Highlander. It's windproof, waterproof, you're safe from any creatures that might be outside. So when we're going to an area where there might be a storm that night or something, it's a good alternative.
Yeah, it definitely is. So as you're building those things, and I saw somebody actually posted a picture of one of your builds online. And is it true that they're actually trying to sell it with your picture?
They said build an SUV camp box with our drawer slides, which I didn't use their drawer slides. They just commandeered my picture off of Pinterest, put it on their company page. I've reported them since, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's pretty bold. As a
Yeah,
business owner myself,
definitely.
I would not be putting other people's pictures online unless I had their approval. Now
Yeah.
there's free pictures out there, and I don't know if they have a lawyer, but commandeering, it almost feels like somebody's commandeering or taking your idea and then trying to sell it. Like, why wouldn't they just build it themselves, take their own picture, and then sell the idea? Who
Yeah.
knows? Who?
I did not go with their drawer slides on my new build. Not
No,
supporting
no.
them for sure.
But I don't know. It's kind of crazy because part of my YouTube channel, I talk about business adventures, because starting a business is a hell of an adventure. I don't know. Maybe you have a future somewhere down the road of building, these custom like kits for people's like SUVs or minivans that they could take camping.
Oh, I
Did you ever?
would love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great idea. You just buy the kit for your model year vehicle and then install it like an IKEA. Like you have a little instructions, install it, boom, it's done. So I would love to see something like that, but I know it's a ton of work though.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Sarah. Well, thanks for the interview. So, I don't know. This is my first interview. I don't know how long this should be or anything like that. But we'll go ahead and end the interview here, and I'll do a cut. I'll do it. Thanks everybody for watching. This was my first interview, so a little bit of stumbling there. I can improve a lot more, I think. So if you have any recommendations for improvement, please message me, put a message or in this YouTube video here. Now, if you want to hear more about Sarah and how she prepared her kids for the incline hike, or how Sarah does her ultra races, or any of those activities, please put a comment on this video, and we can go ahead and add that. I will be doing more and more interviews of people who I know who are adventurers over this summer. I'll try to do 1 or 2 a week. And I'm amazed because I started thinking about it. And I know a lot of adventurous people. So I'm really excited to try to convince these people to come on and do an interview with me and talk about other people's adventures and how you can have adventure. Maybe it'll inspire you to get outside and be a little adventurous. Take care, everybody. Bye.